Hello, everyone. Today I thought of doing something that is a little bit off the charts type of thing. And usually that refers to something that Aurora has done. Yeah, like I haven't been really motivated in the last few days to do any videos. So let me see if Aurora can sort of ignite that because. Yeah, if you want to help me, like what sort of like inspires me is when I see when I see people that are, that are trying to help support either my channel or if I see the people buying my book because I get daily reports and so on, and like it sort of gives me the incentive, to continue to do things in a certain way, and especially when it comes to Aurora, hopefully some of you are. I know there's a couple of you that I mentioned that have purchased my book, and also I don't know about whether you're members or not. I don't have the type of information, but. Yeah. So maybe what I'll do is I'll sort of speak about the premise of the book. So maybe I don't know if that might be of interest, but maybe I'll do that after this. No, I'll do it now so that you get to see it, get to hear it. Basically, the premise of my book is basically like this. Since it's a story that it's a speculative fiction story that occurs way into the future, and I've already jumped over all the things that that may happen, in the sense of the negative things, like whatever destruction may occur from the three main sources of man-made existential problems. And when I say man-made, I'm not talking about meteors or things like that, right? But man-made meaning the three major problems, which are nuclear war, climate change, and artificial intelligence. Those are the three long-term, maybe not that long-term, but three existential situations. And what I mean by existential is that they can end our existence, and they're all man-made, right? Things. So, and I'm not going to go into the specifics, but basically, I jumped over that into after the fact, and there is basically the world is in a dystopian situation, mostly destroyed, but there's one little civilization. Like a city on top of a hill, that's been sheltered from all of this, because they sort of it was sort of something that they envisioned would happen, so they prepared themselves and they formed this society, and basically they were very rich and technologically advanced. So they were able to build the shelter that they needed, and that's it. So generations down the road of that, what happens is that because they became so technologically advanced, that they at a certain point, realized that they could have virtual immortality. Sort of like the metaverse that Facebook is now referred to as Meta, and that Zuckerberg is trying to start, the metaverse and so on. But that's just basically avatars. But imagine if at a certain point you can transfer your consciousness into an avatar, and that's basically what they achieved. And through certain means that I describe in the book and so on. Now, so they're ready, to basically shed their bodies and move into this alternative life, a virtual life. okay, where they can live for thousands of years without any problems, and so on. So it's a virtual immortality in a sense, right? And and but what happens is there's a plot to try and stop them, and then we started trying to figure out why, and the whole basis of that has to do with the discussion of mortality. What is the significance of being mortal as opposed to being immortal, relatively immortal, and there's a huge significance to that because so the emphasis is on mortality at the end, because without mortality you cannot achieve enlightenment, if I could put it that way. And that's basically what the story is about and how it functions and so on. And then the plot, stirs to try and stop them, to try and stop this ascension to this virtual world, and so on. And the person there's two heroines in the movie that are trying to help the human race, or the remains of the human race, the people that remain from that are still healthy in the human race, to try and help them to survive, because they're going somewhere that may just make things that will not help them, become enlightened or evolved, and the two heroines, and basically, and there's one older heroine and a younger one. I won't go into details, but the younger one is the one that I refer to as being sort of like Aurora in the sense of character. And funny enough, the older one would be someone more like Angelina, style and character and so on. So it's sort of funny because it's reverse ages, really reverse characters with the age thing, right? Anyway, so that's pretty much the idea behind it. So hopefully you get it, that is of interest, and it's sort of like it goes into a very different way of thinking, a different way of seeing. It's not very descriptive. It's very much like a script as opposed to a novel. So most of the descriptions are within the dialogue, and like I said, and it's mostly dialogue, and it has to do with basically introspection, seeing things from a different point of view, and it gets sort of quite deep, because ultimately it deals with mortality, and so on. So anyway, that's pretty much it. So let me see what's going on with this girl here. I mean, I just started laughing when I saw this, when I saw the title tarot reading, because I think somebody mentioned that she did a tarot reading, one of the commenters, and wanted me to take a look at it. So yeah. And if you do have suggestions and so on, it would be great if you become members, because I do take suggestions from members, because they are helping me with the channel, so it makes sense that I would put their suggestions ahead of others, because of that fact. And so, or even if you buy my book, tell me you're buying my book, and if you have a suggestion, maybe I could do that for you. Yeah, anyway, whatever. So I'm already laughing, and I don't even know why, just because everything, the scenario that she puts herself in is just so funny, I think I like the way her character is just, it's profound in a sense, and she's deep, and as well as she's funny, So it's a mixture of the two, and she keeps things light, and because she has in my opinion, she's probably have seen a lot of very profound things or experienced them, and so yeah, there we go.
Try and connect to past lives. Are you gay?
I'm bi.
You're bi. I thought you were. I can see very short.
Wait, what is this? Okay, it hasn't started. Okay, so that was like a
Hello
preview.
people, I am Aurora, and
Hi,
I'm
Aurora.
going to do a tarot reading with a beautiful fan.
Hi, my name's Fran Tarot, and I will be doing a tarot card reading. So I'm going to give you the cards. You shuffle them.
I don't know how to shuffle.
Well, I'll give you a quick demo. I want you to think of the questions you want me to answer today.
She doesn't know how to shuffle cards.
Now, one at a time, you pick 10 and you give them to me. Okay.
10 cards.
Was there quite a difficult man that you were involved with recently?
Man? Maybe.
Not me personally, but someone else I know.
Yeah, a friend of yours? The friends are here. Were you helping her through this difficult time? Are you and her like soulmates?
Mm.
Yeah,
We're very connected.
yeah.
I think she's at a turning point.
I feel something great's really coming for her. Okay?
Okay, wait a second. Okay, so she asked her what if there was a man or something, a significant man in her life and so on. And Aurora, I'm not sure she's into like specific relationships and so on, but I think she's like more global in the sense of like she loves everybody and stuff like that. So she says, well, not me, you know, I'm not the one, but there's a friend that I have that obviously there's always going to be someone that you know that's going to be involved in some kind of relationship, you know. So that's it's not much of a reading, you know, in that sense.
You're quite self-critical, aren't you?
I want to give
Yeah.
enough.
course.
I want to make sure that all the people that comes to a show gets all the emotional
Yeah.
input they
Aw.
need, and I want to be like see them and make
Yeah.
them feel seen.
Yeah.
But you can't see everyone
Yeah.
all
No.
the time, and
Yeah.
that annoys me. That's
Yeah.
my biggest battle.
Your social life.
You know, she's so busy, right? I could just imagine how does she even pick, you know, and choose, you know, what she can do. And knowing her, she just flows from one thing to another, you know. Basically, if she's even, I wonder even if that has to do with her reading, you know. If she crosses a book and then she looks at it and she doesn't get a good feel, and she just puts it aside and just moves on to something else. That's the feeling I have, right? Though I wish she'd read my book, you know. That would be, I would be really interested to hear what she would have to say, you know. And from my understanding, I think she has a very good knowledge of books, you know, because I remember somebody mentioning that something about book background, but I've never had anybody mention what book background does she have, you know. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, whatever.
Sometimes you really go recluse. Sometimes you like the clubs, the bars, the whole bit.
I like the extreme opposites.
That's what I'm
So
picking up.
I
That is what I'm
either
picking up.
like to go rave dancing, or I like to be very
Quiet,
enclosed
insular.
for many days,
Yeah.
weeks. I'm very bad at being social.
Is there a man you still kind of like from the past?
Again, a man.
Well, I have a lot of love in general.
Love to give, yeah. But you will find that one person. But I think he's going to be a rare person, if I'm honest. Does that
Rare.
make sense?
That makes sense.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's do another spread.
I mean, she's even like hinting, you know, like, yeah, obviously it's going to be rare, you know.
Ed,
Is it definitely a he?
are you gay?
I'm bi.
You're bi. I thought you were. I do feel.
Wait a second. I thought you were. When did you think you were? You know, like, where's that information coming from?
A woman. that's going to be significant to you? I can see very short shorts or something like that.
Well, maybe. I
Yeah.
like anyone who is comfortable in their own skin.
Yes, of course. And
And
this
who-
girl will portray
who-
that. Oh, isn't that funny? You've got the same card. So the Temperance and Ace of Cups, you love.
But
So I
is
definitely
it
think.
only love to one person? Or can
Well,
it
it's
be...
it's a sexual relationship. Nothing wrong with that girl.
Oh, I love sexual
Well,
relationships.
there you go. You like.
It sounds like she's trying to push, Aurora's trying to push, okay, this is what you should tell me, right? I mean, the tarot reader is not even reading her, just forget the cards, just read her, you'd have more of a chance to give her answers that she would be more comfortable with, or familiar with anyway.
A massive energy to connect to.
I feel like that's my purpose.
It probably is. It probably is.
Probably is. I mean, she's giving you the answer, She's telling you what she. What do you mean? It's probably is, It's like.
You don't really like serious people, do you?
No. I
No.
like
Well,
when
both.
they're spiritual
Yeah.
and when they are capable of handling heavy topics. I like
I
talk.
mean, just look at her, okay? Tarot reader, forget the card. Just look at her. You can read a lot of her characteristics, how she's dressed and everything. Say so much about her, Of course, she's spiritual and so.
Yeah.
But I like people who. I like to hear them laugh,
Yes.
and I like to laugh.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Okay, so for my next book, I'm going to write no. If I ever do write another book, because people keep asking me if I'm going to write a second one, a follow up to this one, but I didn't write it for that purpose. I just to the one that I wrote. The next one, if I do ever write another one, if I ever get a chance, it would be basically comedy skits, because I think I would enjoy that a lot more, because that was so hard to write the book that I wrote, because I had to go into places that were very dark and very deep, and had to sacrifice a lot for that over a 15-year period. So anyway, so yeah, it'd be a comedy book. I wonder if maybe she'd read that one.
I think I'm going to try and connect to past lives now.
She's gonna
Could you imagine you were a bit of a warrior type woman,
Yes,
Odysseus type
Definitely.
person
Joan of Arc.
in a previous life?
She was Joan of Arc.
almost quite manly dressed,
Yeah, I
quite
can see that.
capable of with your
I
spear.
think you can understand that
Joan
too.
of Arc, she's
Yeah.
I
describing.
call my fans my warriors.
Oh,
Huh,
see?
That's why you see
I
sometimes
say that we are
previous life
A warrior of love.
come up. That's why I'm getting it.
What did you think about the reading?
Well, I thought it was very interesting. I
That was very interesting. Okay. Okay, when I say something is very interesting, sometimes, I'll say, it's just a word that I'll use to not insult anyone,
I think the idea of relationships is very boring. But I'm very into love.
Yeah.
And I'm very into giving and receiving love.
Yeah.
And I love all that. So
Yeah.
it makes sense also because
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, I guarantee, look at that face. I guarantee that if it was the other way around, okay, and she was given the cards, if Aurora was actually able to shuffle cards, and she would just do the same thing but towards the tarot reader, she would have a more insightful reading. I guarantee it. I think, I'm pretty sure anyway. Because she's reading you. She's reading the person she's with. You know, that she's a good listener, and which is the hardest thing to do, you know, as a human being, is to listen, you know, because people are so busy listening to their own self that they're not really listening to what the other person is saying. They are translating what the other person is saying a lot of the times to what, and the translation is being done by their self-interest, their point of view, their from what they see or what they are focused on to what they want to hear, you know, as opposed to what the person is saying, you know. And so yeah, listening is the hardest thing. Yeah, and the more someone is, let's say, self-interested, let's say egoistic, the less they listen. You know, because they're just thinking about themselves and thinking about whatever, you know. And the same, you know, I can see that when I read comments and stuff like that. You know, it's an insight into other people's minds. You know, it's sort of like I do my own reading. You know, in the same way that if you're playing poker with at a table, you sort of read how people play. You know, how they play through their actions and so on, and you get a reading on the person, on the people, you know. And even if you don't know who they are, if you don't know anything about them, their names, anything at all, you know, you can still read how their mind works and through how they play. In the same way, when I read comments, and in the same way that tarot readers, you know, or whatever, it just basically the feedback that you receive, you know, and you get an insight into the other person's mind, thoughts, and how they see things, and Aurora is like that because she's a very good listener. Why? Because she's interested in you. You know, like she's really interested in the people that she's with, and she's so nice and so endearing. You know, that she's being very nice to this tarot reader. That I don't know. Like I said, I think Aurora would, if it was vice versa, I think Aurora would have had a better reading of the other person. You know, if they switch places. But that's my opinion. It just I don't know, maybe this tarot reader is an amazing tarot reader, I don't know. Anyway, so anyway, that's about it. So this brought a smile to my face, and it's always fun, you know, like I said, you know, to watch what Aurora's up to. I think I enjoy these things as much as her music, maybe even more at times, you know, depending on the mood, right? I can, and yeah, she's very entertaining, and it's always nice because I know that deep down inside, she's about love, you know, and that's an ageless thing. And if you have love in your heart, I think it shows, and that's what I think. I think makes people like her so special, you know. Anyway, have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care. Bye.